This is the Herd Line News, sponsored by Mercedes-Benz. The best or nothing.
So, the contract negotiation that will never end. Coincidentally, neither one of us really like talking about other people's money.
Yeah, I don't.
Particularly players' money in a salary cap situation. But Dak Prescott is the quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys. Dallas Cowboys are a huge brand, so we are going to continue talking about it until it's done. And they are still going over the details of his long-term deal. According to Chris Sims, the Cowboys offered Dak a 5-year, $175 million contract.
Russell Wilson's contract. That's what Russell Wilson makes.
That is the equivalent to Russell's contract, yes. But Dak prefers a 4-year deal. So he is reportedly looking for somewhere around $45 million in that 5th year to agree to the longer deal. Now, that sounds like a whole lot, but in 5 years from now, that with the salary cap changing, that might not essentially be a lot. $45 million is still a lot either way, even if the salary cap does go up.
Like it's $45 million for Dak Prescott. In what world is that not a lot?
Well, in 5 years from now, hypothetically, he would be your starting quarterback and would be great, right? So you may want to pay him that if the salary cap has gone up. But you also usually in these contracts have a drop year. So they could, if he wasn't what they need him to be to pay $45 million, they could essentially cut him because we know, NFL contracts are not all guaranteed. All this money is not guaranteed. Essentially, like $106 million of it would be guaranteed. But he would be set to be the 7th highest paid quarterback in the NFL. Either way, because the franchise tag will pay him over $31.4 million if he doesn't agree to a long-term deal. And if this particular deal would start at like $35 million. Again, we're just throwing all these numbers out, but they're basically getting down to years and numbers. So I have firmly been in the camp that they should pay Dak Prescott. He should be the quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys. He does deserve to get paid. He hasn't made any money. Obviously, that's not the Cowboys' fault that he hasn't made any money. He was a 4th-round draft pick for a reason, and he has definitely overachieved and has been underpaid. However, that shouldn't throw things completely out of balance either. If I'm Dak Prescott, I'm more concerned about security. Now, we're not talking about Scottie Pippen contract security. I'm not saying you should sign a bad deal, but this is not a bad deal for Dak Prescott. It is starting, and I've been pretty firm with supporting Dak. It is starting to concern me. Like, what you don't want to get into is a situation where you're playing on the franchise tag, and God forbid you get injured. Like, that is a huge risk. Like, you're betting on yourself, which so far has worked out, but that's a huge risk to take. So, winning the NFC South got a lot more difficult this season with the addition of Tom Brady to the Bucs. Atlanta faces Tampa twice in the last 3 weeks of the season.
It's weird scheduling, yeah.
Yeah, and Matt Ryan knows that the Falcons will need to take advantage of those late divisional matchups. He said, it didn't get any easier in our division. They're solid. Tampa's defense was really tough. They add Tom, who's such a consistent and great player. The division's going to be a battle every week. I think at any time you get those division games late in the year, it gives you a chance to either make up grounds or separate yourself, and that's what we're going to need to do that time of year. So their divisional schedule is kind of interesting. They obviously play the Bucs at home week 15. Play the Bucs at home week 15 and away week 17. They play the Saints away week 11 and home week 13.
Well, that's the new NFL schedule. You want division rivals end of the year. They figured that out about 5 years ago, and so Atlanta's schedule down the stretch, and Tom's, by the way, is brutal.
Is brutal. They play the Panthers early, week 5 and week 8, but for the Falcons, they also have a trip to Kansas City in between those 2 games against the Buccaneers.
Brutal.
So they're going to need to play great at the end of the season, or they will miss the playoffs for the 3rd straight year, which is a pretty colossal tumble from almost beating Tom Brady in the Super Bowl to missing the playoffs for 3 straight years. So you're going to need to play good down the stretch. So Melvin Gordon got to see his new quarterback, Drew Lock, up close when the Chargers visited the Broncos last season. It was Lock's first win as a starter. And Gordon thinks he will continue to grow as a star in this league.
I think he can be a really good player. He makes some really great throws. I think, when he gets full control of the offense, when he's really out there dictating and really telling guys what to do and how to do it, I think when he gets that control and his confidence gets, to that level, he's going to be a monster. Obviously, those last couple games, he kind of built that confidence. I'm assuming now, but just more games under his belt where that confidence it just flourished. And just when he walks and talks, you can just see it come out. I think he's going to be a bad man.
They got good weapons now. They have real weapons now. They went and got 2 great receivers in the draft. They had Cortland Sutton. They got Noah Fant. They got Melvin. They got 2 legit running. This is a real team now. They got to get their left tackle situation fixed. This is a really, really good personnel team offensively with a great defensive coach. Watch out.
I don't want to get crazy about Drew Lock.
He's got a big arm.
I like Drew Lock.
Big arm.
And the one thing that he keeps talking about, which is something that a lot of evaluators mention as a very crucial intangible for quarterbacks, is confidence. And Drew Lock does not lack confidence. But I like that about him. And I think playing in a place like Denver, you kind of have to have that air about you to be successful. It's sort of what the Broncos have lacked over the past couple years.
You also got John Elway hovering over you.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you have to,
have it.
You got to have it. Have a little something with you. And Drew Lock does. I'm really excited to watch the Broncos this year.
So am I.
Also, I feel like the Broncos are a team that, there's certain teams in the league the league's just better when they are competitive.
Yep.
The Broncos, I think the Giants are a team like that.
Denver games, late afternoon, Sunday games in Denver, shadows coming down, mile high,
There's just something about that team and brand that they're just like a fun team to watch. It's better when they're good. I feel the same way about the Giants. Like, the league it's like you're kind of missing something when you don't have the Giants, at least in the playoff conversation. Like, they're going to be a dud. So I'm really looking forward to see what Drew Lock does this year.
Good stuff, Joy, with the news.
Well, that's the news.
And thanks for stopping by.
The Herd Lie News.
Matt Mosley, funny guy, insider, columnist, Dallas Morning News. This Dak story is wow. $45 million last year of the deal. What are you seeking? Wow. Have you seen the interest rates on savings accounts lately at typical banks? Not much to get excited about. A lot of their rates start with, 0. That's why you should go to Marcus.com. Supported by Goldman Sachs. High yield online savings account. Grows your money. You could earn more interest in 1 month at Marcus.com than you could in a year at the largest banks. The high yield online savings account. There is no